Is Chip Kelly back to the college ranks going to
I don't think he's going back to college. But again,
but just the rumor of it always seems like when they're not doing well, then it's Chip Kelly. Well, if this doesn't work out, he can always go back to college.
Well, I mean, the only person, everybody who is opining about this, including me, we do not know the truth. You know why? Because Chip Kelly doesn't talk to a lot of people. He just doesn't. He's not one of these guys who burns up the phones and has 9 friends, close friends in the NFL who he's saying, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? He keeps his own counsel. So, anybody who says, I know what he's going to do. But I think every time something like this happens and people say, like the funniest thing I read was John Harbaugh to USC. Last year, after the Ravens beat the Steelers in the playoffs, I wrote a column that said, in essence, I could see John Harbaugh becoming the NFL's next Chuck Noll. He could stay in Baltimore for 15, 18, 20 years. There's such a good symbiotic relationship between him and the front office. They yell at each other, then they kiss and make up, and it's good because the front office can find him players and he can coach them, and it's a great relationship. So, and I had somebody with the team after that story ran who said, you absolutely hit that one on the head. We think he's going to be here for the next 10 or 15 years. But so then they go 1-5 or whatever they are right now the next year, and all of a sudden they say, oh, he's coaching USC. It's just, it's a what have you done for me yesterday sport.
But I was told that's where the story started with, the booster wish list.
Right.
So it's not John Harbaugh is courting USC.
Right.
So everybody has got this thought that because Pete Carroll's name is on there, that I'm saying Pete Carroll's going to USC. They have to look at this and say, here's our wish list. How many times does a booster group overinflate their job? How good their job is. Would Pete Carroll come back? I don't think so, but they have him on the list. Kevin Sumlin, he was on the list. John Harbaugh, they courted him a couple of years. 2007, they tried for John Harbaugh. Summerlin said no the last time. They said they wouldn't include him. So there's names that are on there. Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
One of the things that I've learned about this college coach thing, Dan, I'll never forget about 3 or 4 days before, but this was late 2006, and Nick Saban said to me on the phone one night, we were at football night that night, and I remember calling him and talking to him after a Dolphins game. And he said, I'm not going. I am not going. Stop the nonsense. I'm not going. And then 3 days later, he's on a plane to Tuscaloosa. So having said that, I do not think Chip Kelly is going. Believe me, I would never say Chip Kelly's not going. I don't know if Chip Kelly's going. We'll see what happens. But the reason why I don't sort of get involved in the sort of the daily mayhem about all that is that, in my opinion, Chip Kelly is the kind of guy I think he is totally, totally into sort of the competitive aspect. I did college football, and I was really good at it. And if I went back, I'd be really good at it again. But, there's this thing, the NFL. I want to win the NFL. And I think that's who he is. I think that's the kind of person he is. And again, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I just don't see him being Steve Spurrier. I don't see him being Nick Saban. What does that mean? Probably nothing, but it's just my gut feeling.
There's so many stories where coaches will tell players. I had a player who was at LSU, and Nick Saban said, I'm not taking the job. And then he said, I never saw him again. Butch Davis was not going to leave to take the Browns job. So he tells a recruit on Sunday, I'm going to be here. And then he left Monday.
Well, how about 24 hours before Chip Kelly is on a plane to Philadelphia? He's in that offensive lineman's offensive lineman's house in Bakersfield, California, recruiting him to go to Oregon. 24 hours later, he's on a plane to Philadelphia. And, how he explained that is, I can just tell you categorically that deal wasn't done before I got on the plane and everything, so I don't know that I'm taking it, and I have to keep doing this job. So, hey, it's a murky business.